Tough topic today, guys. We're talking about layoffs. If you haven't heard, a company called Bird, which lets you ride their electric scooters by paying a fee, has just laid off 400 of its employees. Not only did they lay off 400 employees during this crazy time, but they brought them into a Zoom conference room and basically told them their services are no longer required through a pre-recorded message. There are videos already that are circulating about this topic, so I'm not going to harp on this too much, but I do want to share you a clip of what the employees, or I guess in this case, ex-employees heard when they jumped into that conference call.
COVID-19 has also had a massive impact on our business, one that has forced our leadership team and our board of directors to make many extremely difficult and painful decisions. One of those decisions is to eliminate a number of roles at the company. Unfortunately, your role is impacted by this decision, and Friday, April 3rd, will be your last day with Bird. This is very difficult to hear during an already challenging time.
Imagine working late nights and weekends for this company, grinding it out, building out code, building out technologies, or if you're not a coder, going on sales calls and things like that, only to find out that you're getting let go and you're not even told by the CEO or the manager, but some pre-recorded message from someone that you don't even know. That is such a horrible feeling, and I can't imagine what that must feel like. But instead of diving into how horribly they executed this process, I want to emphasize that even as software engineers, our job is not safe. You could be the best developer, understand the best technologies, make some application or feature super performant, but if your company is mismanaging the finances, then it really can go downhill for you. In this case, it looks like Bird might have overhired or over-leveraged the funding that they got from their most recent round, and as a result of the pandemic that's occurred, people aren't riding Birds, they have to let people go. This is really, really crappy and in a way kind of unexpected for companies to foresee something like this, but it just shows you again that even as software engineers, our jobs are not safe. Before I talk about how 90% of all startups fail, I do want to share a positive resource for those of you that may have been laid off. There's a great resource Google Sheet that's out there circulating in the web that is giving you a list of all companies that are hiring remote developers, designers, customer success, and operation people right now. If you have been laid off, definitely check out that resource in my description. What's really cool is I found this gem through a member on my Facebook group. And if you haven't joined yet, come on over because we are a small community that talks about coding, that talks about tech, landing a job, and free coding resources. We're still a small group, so if you want to join a community that's kind of centered around you, then head on over and we'll have that community grow and grow. This is a great resource for you to find that next job. And if you do decide to use that as a resource, leave them in the comments below. I'd really like to know what jobs you're applying to and things like that. Right now, I'm in my Facebook group channel called the TechRally Software Dev Lounge. And if you scroll down a little bit, we have Nathan Ma, one of my Facebook group members, presenting a link. It says, "Happy Tuesday, everybody. I stumbled upon this list on LinkedIn for startups that are actively hiring during these troubled times. If you got laid off or know anyone that did, please feel free to share this list." Going to this Google Sheet list, when I first checked it, I think there was about 150 jobs. But now if I scroll down, I think it goes to, wow, this is really long. It goes down to 306. So there are some notable companies like Circle CI, Grammarly, 0x. And what's really cool about this job posting list is that it actually filters by specific job roles. So if you are an engineer or you do design, it gives you kind of an X on the side to let you know if they're hiring for these roles. What's really nice about this sheet is that it gives you a very simple rundown of what each company does, where it's located, if they're hiring for remote, and what series stage they're in. I hope that this comprehensive list is helpful for anyone that did get laid off. Definitely check it out and see if anything catches your eyes. If you're a developer or a designer or someone that's in CS or operations, check it out and let me know if you were able to find a job through this list. So now I want to talk about what we can learn from these huge layoffs. I know that a lot of developers or people in the tech community always hear about how most startups fail, but we tend to forget these statistics when it comes down to, oh wow, this company is super sexy. This company could be the potential Uber for scooters, and you only hear about the PR and the marketing, but we never think about the financials, right? Sometimes if you get too clouded by the mirage of, wow, this is going to be the next unicorn company, you tend to forget about all the other red flags that might exist. Think about Adam Newman and WeWork and all the red flags he made during this lead up to trying to IPO. If your company is spending exorbitant amounts of money on very meaningless things that isn't value added to your company, you should start questioning yourself, even as a developer who is mostly focused on tech, about the future of this company. Of course, as a software engineer, you're going to be recruited by a lot of people from different companies, but in a way, you don't want to keep moving around so frequently unless that is your MO to get paid more. That's kind of a totally separate subject, but you want to leave a company on your own terms. Some of these red flags, like I said before, look at what Adam Newman did about selling the company of We to his own company for exorbitant amounts of money. Maybe your company does catering lunches every day, but I'm not saying that those are red flags. It's just, is it appropriate right now to be having this kind of financial spending when your company is as small as it is? One of the things that I want to harp on that I really neglected to do is pay attention during these town halls. Pay attention to what other departments are doing. Is your company selling something for a profit, or are we just kind of burning money for the sake of burning money and getting recognition? These are the kind of questions that you should ask even as a developer to really understand your company and just get a better understanding of where your company is going forward. On top of understanding what your company does and how it makes money, it also shows you, even as a software engineer, that you need to be prepared for the worst. And what I mean by that is, what are you doing while you are working at a company outside of work? Are you doing any extracurricular activities to improve yourself as a developer? Or in some cases, say you get bit by that entrepreneurial spirit, how do you figure out ways to take the skills that you currently have to make a side hustle? In situations where this income that you are used to getting from your company is suddenly gone, what are you going to do to prepare yourself to make this transition a lot easier? If you're just okay with just working at your company and not improving on your own personal self, then at times like this is always going to be super hard. It doesn't have to be just like a pandemic that can cause this. You could get laid off, you could get fired, you could get furloughed. Maybe certain things will be outside of your control that leads you to be in a situation where you don't have a job, and finding that next job is super hard because you haven't done anything to improve yourself technically. Being a software engineer is kind of a beauty and a curse in that the technology is evolving so quickly. If you don't learn anything for a year and just apply the same principles that you do, you are eventually going to get obsolete in like 2-3 years. I am constantly on the watch for any kind of JavaScript changes, front-end framework popularity, and things like that. I know that people talk about JavaScript fatigue and how it's such a struggle. I wish things were just much more standardized. It is kind of annoying, but it's also kind of fun to be learning new technologies. I know some frameworks are out there now like Svelte that I personally kind of enjoy learning because I want to see some subtle differences that other frameworks do with each other and try to see the positives and negatives. If you're not challenging yourself as a developer at work and outside of work, then like I said again, you just never know what's going to happen. Any free time that you have, why not take advantage of it and learn a new skill, learn a new language, learn more about the back end if you're a front end developer, learn more about the front end if you're a back end developer. This is a crazy time where you have so much flexibility as a software engineer that you can really learn whatever you want and you'll get paid at your work to do it. I'm not advocating for you to just hate on a company and expect you to get fired and things like that. I really want to emphasize that the first priority should be on yourself and how do you improve yourself within the context of a team. Because there are going to be times where you're going to have to move on from your company and you have to move on for either your choice or by force. And if it's by force, you want to be the most prepared that you can for the next steps. Too often than not, we're very prone to just settle with what we currently have. And I don't want this to be a whole mindset video and things like that, but what keeps me going and becoming a better developer is knowing that my job could potentially not be there tomorrow, the next week, or a month. You just have to always be improving your skill with the idea that, hey, I need to really keep it into context that this is not the most safest job in the world and anything could possibly happen. That's why I actually started this YouTube channel, because I just wanted to learn a new skill and kind of work on that side hustle and see if I can make that passive income. And let me tell you right now, there are no such things as like a 10 easy steps to getting a passive income or side hustle, but I'll save that video for another time. What I want to really harp is that you just go through that grind, and especially for developers who went to like a coding bootcamp school or went through a self-taught way, you know how hard it is and how hard it was to get to where you are now. So why are you stopping at that moment and just saying, this is it, I'm done? Of course, I want you to enjoy that finish line, or what is perceived to be that finish line of getting a job. But there's like another Mount Everest that you need to do to become that next level. Do you want to be settling with just a junior developer status, or do you eventually want to be that senior level? And if you're a senior level, do you want to be just settling with the senior level title, or do you want to be that principal? There are always ladders that you can climb to become a better developer, better entrepreneur, better person in general. But in times like this, where layoffs could just happen in a sudden instant, it really does show some vulnerabilities within yourself that you didn't think about. You always assume that that job was always going to be there. And after you get laid off, you start thinking like, what skills did I learn? What skills are applicable for my next one? Don't be the one that is unprepared for situations like this by over preparing beforehand. Learn that new skill. Right now I'm learning DaVinci Resolve in my free time, and it has nothing to do with coding. This is just straight video editing. In terms of trying to grow this channel and make it something more meaningful for you guys, I'm putting in that extra effort to grow my brand and also become still a better developer by articulating the struggles that I go through as a software engineer. Trying to blend that in together is the purpose of this channel, and I want to be able to do that if I was just content with just learning what I currently know. I'm expanding my knowledge, trying out different technologies with the expectation that this will help me become a better developer, a better entrepreneur, and things like that. This video was relatively short, but I hope that it was helpful for some of you that are kind of in a funk right now. We do have a lot of time for those of you that have gotten laid off and you need some time to reflect and think. But just know that there is a next job that is going to be waiting for you eventually. But once you do get that job, try not to just settle with what you have. Figure out ways to improve yourself as a marketer, as a software engineer, as someone that is a manager or a team lead. It is a really tough time, and I hope my resource with the list of companies that are actively hiring remote employees will be helpful for you if you're listening. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. We just hit over 400 subscribers, which is mind-blowing to me again. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to talk to you in the next video. See ya.